Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Men in Orange and Black, the podcast for the sane Flyer fan. We're coming at you with an emergency podcast. A day late, but nonetheless, the trade deadline has come and gone. And we trust the Flyer fandom out there to have rational and measured takes. Went down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the rib shot for?
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was a joke. Sorry about that. Yeah.
You're correct. It was.
Yes.
The meltdowns around here are phenomenal.
Measured takes, right? I guess that's why we're here. I guess just to try and take a rational approach at this, because I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I guess that's a measured take.
Oh, don't be one of them. Come on, don't be one of them.
Okay.
Everybody, let's.
Right?
We're interrupting my breathing exercise.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. DDP yoga. Sorry about that.
So let's start.
Let's talk about it.
What's causing the big uproar around here, which is the road not taken, because bronze medal champion Rasmus Ristolainen remains a Philadelphia Flyer, despite the rumor mill the last week or so that he's been on the block and on his way out the door.
Yeah, I blame TSN solely for that rumor, to be perfectly honest, and they did a bang-up job, as they usually do, in their hockey coverage, that kind of a deal. So I didn't think he was going to go, to be perfectly honest, because, honestly, Nick Seeler got hurt, and if you were going to move Ristolainen off, that means you're down two defensemen. So Briere's not that stupid to do something along those lines.
I don't think that played into it at all.
Do you think it was a factor?
No, I don't think. If Briere has shown anything, I don't believe that he takes small issues into account. Like the Utah game, for example, last night was quite the dud.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think that plays into any part of the plan for the trade deadline. I think he sees things big picture and he makes moves based on the big picture. And if you're going to have Seeler out for a week or whatever it's going to be, I don't think that was a factor.
Played a factor.
He held on to Rasmus Ristolainen.
That makes sense.
He came out in his press conference. He said, he blamed just what you did. He blamed the media. He's like, you guys made the fire here.
Yeah.
And he's like, we weren't actively looking to move him. We listened. People were calling.
Yeah.
That's what people do at the trade deadline. We listened, but we didn't get anything we liked.
Yeah.
So there.
And you have a right-handed shot defenseman who's 6'4", and pretty good what he's done. And so far, it's like 800 games. Just recently had that in his resume. And things along those lines. So, yeah.
It still has a year left on his deal.
Hey.
It's not like he's walking out the door at the end of the spring.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I get the idea of people wanting to have him traded. He just came off the Olympics where he played very well. He's not injured at the moment. He could get injured at another time. Now would be a good time to move him. But to me, Danny has a price, and if people aren't willing to meet it, he doesn't have to trade Ristolainen.
Right on the money there. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are losing their shit because, oh my God, they had to trade Ristolainen. Now was the time. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, no. La. Yeah.
Folks. Ristolainen getting traded is not the difference between us getting where we are now and being a cup contender next year. Okay?
Yeah.
That is, I get it. To me, I think it's a psychological issue. Right. Ristolainen is kind of a vestige and remnant of the previous regime that people want to see gone because it reminds them constantly of Chuck Fletcher.
Fletcher and
I get, but the hypocrisy is this. People are like, oh man, now is the time to move Ristolainen. You got to get him. You're going to get premium assets. So Danny's like, I got a price. And he sticks to his guns. Nobody's coming. And at the same time, these same people are like, oh, but you just got to, if you're not getting your price, you just got to get rid of him for something. Like, okay, you're going to get a second round pick for him now?
Yeah.
Like, does that, and it's a winning team that's going to want him. It's going to be a bottom half of the second round. Does that excite you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so what exactly do we have to move him for?
What's the purpose of moving him? Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's a great point. And you want the highest return on your investment, essentially, whenever you make a trade that involves the Rasmus Ristolainen. And besides, there were other right-handed shot defensemen that were out there that I think commanded even more, and some teams did ultimately pay that price, to get their trades or whatever for a right-handed shot D. So I'm glad that he's still here. He's 31 years old, I believe. So he's got so he'll be 32 next year. I mean, I could see the argument as to why you would want to move him just because of the age factor. And, he's not a top scoring defenseman. Doesn't fit the timeline, all that kind of stuff. And he's never played in the playoffs. And why don't we do him a favor and all this other stuff? And I'm thinking, I don't think that's what Danny Briere wants to do when it involves Ristolainen. I still think that there's enough youth around for, basically to look up to this guy, to set that NHL standard. So it's like, look at this guy doing over 800 National Hockey League games in his career. He's blossomed. He's only gotten better since he's been here in this.
When healthy.
When healthy, exactly. So I think having him for that additional year. Now, we'll see what happens next year if they decide, okay, we're going to move him. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. So do you move him then? Maybe.
That's when you have to be like, okay, we got to think about moving him because chances are they're not going to re-sign him.
I don't think they would, because I think it's $5.1 million on the cap, if I'm not mistaken with him.
It's $5.1 million on the cap for his current deal. He may or may not make more or less than that. Male between the ages of 18 and 92.
Right.
But he's going to be old. He would be in the way of some of the younger guys coming up. He's not in the cards to be re-signed when his deal is up.
Yeah.
And I think Danny Briere recognizes that. So you're going to have to move him so you can get something.
Yeah.
But the people who act like moving him is the difference in making this team great. Come on. I mean, Russ Joy went apoplectic last night on the Press Row show because he was in the lineup. Oh my God, you have to protect your asset. You can't be playing him. What if he gets hurt?
So what? Yeah. So what are we? The Toronto Maple Leafs now? I mean, what are we doing? Come on. Right. They had Ekman Larson in bubble wrap. They had Scott Lawton of all people in bubble wrap. And they
ended up trading Wah.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, they ultimately traded, I think Lawton went to the Kings. Okay, fine. But you wrap Ekman Larson up, and, to my knowledge, I don't think he was traded.
I don't recall hearing his name either.
Yeah. So it's like you wrapped him up for essentially three starts, saying, okay, well, we're going to move you. We're going to move you. And now all of a sudden, you have him on the roster, and it's like, you didn't move him for anything.
I can understand it if you're this close to a deal.
Sure.
It's like, okay, we're this close. I'm not going to take a chance.
Yeah.
But as Danny pointed out, he wasn't actively looking to move Risto, so why sit him?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, but he could get hurt. Well, yeah, anybody could get hurt at any time. If Chris Pronger didn't get his eye put out by that jackass in Toronto, things might have been better in 2012.
Oh, yeah.
We'll never know.
We'll never know that.
That's the nature of the sport.
Yeah.
Okay, ice your best luck. We're still
high contact sport,
technically in a playoff race.
Yeah,
ice your best team. Especially if Nick Seeler was hurt, you didn't really have anybody to plug in there.
Yeah, Yeah.
So, but Ristolainen not getting traded. People are losing their minds. Calm down.
Yeah, I got to breathe a little bit.
Risto is not between you and glory.
Yeah, okay? Yeah. He's not preventing you from the next step. In the process there, but why don't we talk about the fact that Bobby Brink was traded?
Going next.
Yeah, I mean, so what are your initial thoughts then on the Brink trade? 1-for-1, no other, nothing else added into the trade at all. It was basically Brink for David Jiricek straight up, no draft picks, nothing. Jiricek, of course, drafted right behind Quitter Gauthier in the draft.
He who shall not be named on this podcast.
Right, exactly. I mean, and I don't want to hear it from anybody. Oh, he's having a better year than. No. We're not talking about that because he's not on the team, and I could care less what's going on there. But so you get another right-handed shot defenseman. He's 22.
6'4", 22.
Yeah. Now he's been around a little bit, around the beaten path here. I think this is his third NHL team since he's been drafted. The rumor prior to that, or not the rumor, the actuality was when he was moved to Minnesota, Minnesota essentially gave, I think it was Columbus, 4 draft picks for this guy.
Including a first rounder.
And he has not seen their lineup at all. He barely has played. I think he's only played 25 games this entire year. He's been scoreless this season. Only in 84 games played, 2 goals with 13 total points. So what do you think about the trade, Steve, with this? Last year of his deal, by the way, too. Yeah.
What?
Last year of his deal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was last year of Bobby Brink's deal, too.
Yeah, so they're both RFAs for
RFAs.
next year. Yep.
I like this deal.
Hmm.
I like it a lot because, people talking about, well, you need a 1 seed, 1D. This is the type of deal that you're going to have to make to get that kind of thing, right? The guy was picked 6th overall, was the second defenseman taken in that 2022 draft.
Mm-hmm.
You want top 10 picks? Here's a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
So he had, at one point, the pedigree. Briere brought up in his press conference, and I tend to agree because I've said things like this before. He thinks Jiricek was rushed by the Columbus organization. Perhaps
So
also rushed in Minnesota.
Little Provorov issue. Maybe.
Provorov, Drysdale. And look what they've done with Jamie Drysdale.
Yeah.
He got here, he was a mess, and he is proven himself to be a very capable defenseman.
So much better. We'll talk about him, obviously, when we do our regular episode coming up in a couple of days, next week, actually, where he chased somebody down from Utah, what I thought was going to be a 2-on-1 breakaway.
Yep.
And he got back in a hurry and stopped that from happening. Now, I mean, that says...
I was like, whoa, where'd he come from?
Where did he come from? And because he knew exactly what he needed to do. He needed to get back on defense immediately, and he got there. And, I mean, so leaps and bounds. He's progressing extremely nicely. If we're doing like an end of season award, I think he's our best defenseman, both of us, at the end of the day. But we'll go there. But anyway, yeah. So this guy, knock on him is skating, though. Now, do you think the fact that he's been brought up too quickly, has that hampered his ability to skate?
I don't know. When you talk about a guy who gets rushed as a defenseman, I don't think it has to do necessarily with skating
With their
mechanics.
ability.
And skating is something that you could fix. You can work with skating. I mean, Bobby Brink needed help skating. Tyson Forster needed help skating. We draft guys who need help skating. I don't think that's an impediment. You can work on that. The issue I see with defensemen who get rushed is you throw them into the fire. They don't perform the way they're used to because they're taking on too much. They lose confidence. They start double guessing themselves. Second guessing, not double guessing. They start second guessing themselves.
Yeah.
They're not, your Igor Zamula.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
Right.
Jamie Drysdale has become much more effective now that he's become decisive. It's a confidence issue. You can ruin a guy's confidence if you rush them and they don't succeed right off the bat. And quite frankly, the work they've done with Drysdale to rehabilitate his game, I'd like to see them do that with this kid. He's got tremendous tools. He's got a hell of a shot. I mean, you're talking power play. We're missing a guy.
We're missing a guy
from
the top of the point. Absolutely. Yeah.
He could potentially be that guy. Okay. And Danny said at his press conference, he's like, he's going to start in the AHL.
Yeah.
Because they want to build him back up.
Yep.
You gotta rebuild the kid. So I like this because you got a guy who had top 10 tools.
Mm-hmm.
He just hasn't put it together yet. If he could put it together here, that's going to be huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, massive.
And what you gave up to get him in Bobby Brink, nice player.
Yeah.
I like Bobby Brink.
Yeah.
Good hands. He's 25.
Has come a long way from when he was benched by Tortorella, and we all thought, oh, my God, this guy, we don't know if he's ever going to play again.
Right.
And he was able to rebound and become a very serviceable NHL player.
Right. But he's 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He's moving into his prime.
Yep.
And I'm not sure he's going to be much more than what he is.
He's going home. He's going back home to his home state, Minnesota, playing for his hometown team, essentially. And they're going to be loaded. I mean, they've got a really good roster up there. But I think he'll be third line, just like he was here, essentially.
But here's the point.
Yeah.
Okay. The writing was on the wall for this. He's an RFA.
Mm-hmm.
You have a glut of wings on this team.
Yeah.
With more coming.
Yeah.
Okay. You got Michkov. Presumably Martone's going to be here soon.
Oh, yeah.
Konechny. Zegras.
Mm-hmm.
Forster will be back. That's already 5 wings in your top 3 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Tippett is still here. That's 6. That's 6 wings. You've got Alex Bump. You got Denver Barkey.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was going to have to go.
Yeah.
Why re-sign Brink to another deal if you're going to have to get rid of somebody?
And more likely, if you would, that would probably be, given his career stats, he was earning 1.5. So probably that would have been maybe a max of 2 if you were to re-sign him.
He was going to get a raise. He's improved his game. He was going to get a raise.
Yeah.
So it was there. You have too many wings. Mm-hmm. You made the trade for a position of need. You need quality defensemen. You got one. It's not a draft pick you have no idea what the hell you're getting. You have a guy who's already been in the draft. You have a book on him already. You know what you need to fix about him. And it's not some aging dude who doesn't fit the timeline. Right? This is the type of deal that I think can be exciting. It's going to take time. You can't judge it right in the immediate now.
Yeah.
But I really like this deal.
Yeah. That's good. You've convinced me. Thank you.
Okay, good. I talked you off
You
off
talked
the
me
ledge.
off the ledge. No,
Hunter
seriously.
Brody is sitting on right now.
Well, yeah. That kind of deal. No, I think it's very important. I think the shot from the point really excites me. If you get him going off the top of the point of the power play, whether it be first or second, because you get him alongside Drysdale, I think you've solved the power play unit, essentially defensively. Because you got a guy who could come back in Drysdale. If in case anything breaks down, you got him moving up and down the point as well to look for lane shots. But then you also have this guy that can bring the hammer from the point as well. Has shown to do that. So yeah, I think the fact that just because you're drafted 6th overall, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're guaranteed to play in the National Hockey League right from the jump. I think that's really important. Like Matthew Schaefer, to give you guys an example, Schaefer, 1st overall pick, and he has definitely shown that he's lived up to the pedigree.
Absolutely.
No question about it.
But he's an outlier.
But he is very much an outlier.
Defensemen like that do not come along that often.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're the Islanders and you bribe Gary Bettman to go from 12th all the way up to 1st in the draft to get the number 1 overall pick. But in any event, that's neither here nor there.
And now they've acquired Braden Shen, who has. Okay, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, he was a nice player 10 years ago, but
really hasn't done it much really since the Cup run for St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I think that was still a right move for the Islanders. You need to kind of maybe do a little injection in their offense. I don't know, but we'll see how long that goes. But in any event, having Jiricek, I think, at the top of the point, particularly if you get him going, and I like the fact that he's going to be paired with essentially with Todd Reardon, coaching him on defense. And I think if you get him in a good training camp and you get him kind of just, hey, we believe in you. We believe in your abilities here. A lot of people have doubted your abilities. Don't think that you're able to play. You get him going, 22-year-old kid, already been traded 3 times in his career. Now he has an organization that believes in him and says, we trust you, to do this. Onus is, of course, on you, but
absolutely,
we're here. We're going to teach you how to play on defense and get you better. And essentially, if you got a Drysdale 2.0, we got 2 right-handed shots. You can let a Ristolainen walk, by the way, at the end of his $5.1 million, or you could get if you wanted to get a winger or a centerman in a part of a deal. Who knows? Maybe that's the bargaining chip for next year, not this. Not this year. So I think all of that is in the pot here. All of that is like kind of stirring in this pot. So I agree. I think if you get him kind of coached up a little bit, get him some AHL experience, and then call him up, and then continue to blossom him, pair him alongside a really good, solid defenseman, and then you just watch the kid build in his career. Who the heck knows what's going to happen? I think it's good. I think the future's bright. Just got to get an opportunity. That's all.
And you have to, and that's part of the reason why Minnesota traded him. Minnesota is trying to win a cup now.
Yeah.
They don't have time to wait for him.
Yeah.
To develop that.
Yeah.
Right. So we get a kid who needs that time to develop because we have the time to develop him. Minnesota gets a guy who's a proven NHLer who might help them on their third or fourth line.
And they solved their defensive problem anyway when they got Quinn Hughes earlier this year. So, and that's what they were really ultimately, I think, looking for, some dynamic defenseman. And I think they might have misinterpreted the fact that this guy really needs AHL seasoning first. Yeah. He's 22. Quinn Hughes has been around for a while. He's been, I think, in the league 4 or 5 years, and he's proven to be one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League. So you make that deal if you're Minnesota. Again, you're competing against Colorado, Dallas. You can afford to let a kid like this go away. You don't have to necessarily keep him in your farm system, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think it's a win-win at the end of the day. I'm sad to see Brink go, but at the same time, it's like I think you're right. There are so many wingers that we have in this organization. We need to let them go. We need to find centers, is what we need. And so, winger for a right-handed shot, I'll take it. In that regard.
Now, speaking of getting rid of wingers, we also dropped Nick Delorier to Carolina for a 7th-round pick. And this was just, hey, Nick, to thank you for your service. We're trading you to a contending team.
Yeah.
Giving you a shot. Because who knows where he'll be next year.
So 35 years old, Nick Delorier.
And he's got one job, basically.
Yeah.
Which
he will likely
not all that comfortable anymore in the league.
He will likely not see the lineup in Carolina. He's just there just to fill, maybe get a look-see like last few games of the year, that kind of a deal. But he is not going to be on their playoff roster. There's just no way that guy's going to see the ice in the playoff roster.
I mean, I could see if a series gets physical, because
slot him in. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Carolina's known for physical play. So maybe this was a chance for them to kind of beef up a little bit, show teams like Florida, who probably won't make the playoffs, that you can't push this around. But that's yet to be seen. But, good luck to Nick. He did his job while he was here, and he did it with a smile on his face and a black eye. But good on him for.
Yeah, he was. I remember when it was a Fletcher signing, by the way. And I remember a lot of people thinking, like, why are we signing? It was I think it was a 4-year deal.
It was a 4-year deal.
And it was like, what are we doing signing this guy for 4 years? But, I mean, that fight that he had up against, I think, what was it, Boston? Yeah, that was a Ted Beller right there. That was a great great fight. But, I didn't think, I mean, I'm happy, in a way, I'm happy he's gone because it's like, that at the end of his, like, he's 35, how much longer do you have in the tank? That's the only question with him.
Especially when you're basically a fighter and that's all you do.
Yeah, and you're not playing already while you're here. So it's kind of like, well, okay, Danny did the right thing. He always seems to do the right thing when it comes to, like, veteran guys. He did it with Eric Johnson. Yep. He's done it with this guy. Just, hey, you want to go win a cup? Here you go. Off you go. And that just builds, like, good, like, people are being taken care of here. Mm-hmm. That kind of a deal. Like, Danny has a long. I keep thinking about, like, what Briere is going through, Danny Briere, right now. All the heat right now from a lot of the Flyers fans, I think that's out there, is they want to be in the playoffs. They've missed the playoffs so long. Travis Konechny kind of saying that, kind of reading between the lines when he was interviewed by Ashlyn Sullivan at NBC Sports Philly. It's like, yeah, we need to add people. Getting a little tired of like seeing people go. And, it's like I get a lot of heat. I understand Briere gets a lot of heat. Totally understand that. But the returns on the investment, I think, the people that he has traded and the youth that's coming back in, it's like it's building. It's something the Flyers fans haven't been used to in 25 years.
Yeah.
Like when you and I
have
were
to be patient.
Yeah, and that's very, very hard when you're going through an entire rebuild. You have to understand that there's a long-term process in place. Danny does not want to have a rental guy here for 19, 20 games like an Adam Oates to fill in a roster spot to see if he can push us over the top to get to the Stanley Cup final. We have to get there first, and we have to get there in a consistent manner. The only way you do that is you build the core up. And for years, and I think he may mention this in his presser today, they didn't have a cupboard. There was barely anything in terms of youth here.
Yeah.
Barely anything. Because we were told that we were going to be aggressively retooling the roster.
Yep.
Or, we had Ron Hextall sitting on his ass and not knowing how to draft people correctly. And instead thinking that we can rely on him to draft, even though that really he was surrounded by people in Los Angeles that could draft and could identify proper talent. He just forgot how to do that. Just didn't write the notes down. So you're being set back two GMs who really had no idea what they were really doing and didn't know how to communicate to the Philadelphia fan base on this is our goal. This is where we expect to be in 5 to 6 to 7 years.
Trades are hard.
Trades are hard to do. It's not easy. I'll never forget that because then I thought that you're not qualified. You're not qualified to be GM. If you're saying trades are hard, that was Fletcher, I think, that said that.
Oh, yes, it was.
And it was like, I think it was a couple days later he was fired. So it was like dude, it was like, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Firing is easy.
That kind of a deal. So yeah, because I think they had an open town hall, if I remember right, and that was like I think that was the Rangers when the Rangers fans came over and took over the Wells Fargo Center a couple of years ago, and I thought, yeah, we're at rock bottom, and we definitely need a rebuild. We don't need an aggressive retool anymore. So, I mean, I get it. I understand, and you want to see the steps of the young kids going forward. And this year, it didn't really happen. Yeah, Michkov take a step back. He showed up out of shape. He's been trying to play catch up the entire year. He did a god-awful thing in the Utah game where he just skated back towards the middle of the ice and didn't look for Bennett. I mean, what are you doing?
We'll talk about
that, right?
It was bad, but I don't think it was as bad as I think he misread it, and I think that's just a youth.
That's a youth thing.
Issue.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a lack of hustle or anything.
No,
he misread the play.
Yeah, and that comes through experience. And there's going to be times where you're going to go through something like that. And then, the common refrain I hear is like, "Oh, it's Vladar." Vladar's turned in an unbelievable season, and he has. If we didn't have Dan Vladar in this team, I don't think we're probably down near the Rangers. I think in terms of the overall rankings or in the standings board. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but he's certainly a big reason for the success.
Big
but
time.
You also you can't play that game
right
and then say, well, last year the goal, we were so bad because for all these other reasons, but the goaltending sucked last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta play it both ways.
Yep.
So we had terrible goaltending last year. We're getting good goaltending this year. All right, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
It's some kind of happy medium.
Yeah.
But you got to be patient, and I think a lot of people are losing sight of that, and so they either want to do something to get a 1C now, which isn't happening, or they want to start all over again, which is pointless because why?
Yeah. When that's really essentially being done right now. You're just not seeing the benefit yet of it because it takes time to develop these players. It really does. It takes time and effort, and there are going to be mistakes along the way, but there is hope. I do see Jamie Drysdale is a great example of it. Here's a guy, we got a very raw defenseman, young defenseman. And the leaps and bounds that he has taken in this, I think it's now his third year with us. I think
that's right.
Second or third year. And he has already made, like, he is so much better compared to where he was when we first got him. So it's, I mean, just put faith, it's hard for the, for a typical Flyers fan. It's really hard because for 25 years you've been told, we'll aggressively retool this. We'll add this piece over here.
Well, like you and I, we grew up in the area of we'll buy our way out of it.
Yeah, and you just cannot do it in this NHL. You just cannot. You just cannot. It's a totally different NHL. And that's something that I think, you have a GM that understands that for the first time in 10 years in this organization, at least 10, 12 years. That fully understands, hey, listen, we need to do something different here. We need to be cap compliant for one. And number two, we need to get really good young players in here. And yeah, we gotta learn how to win. But if we got a good coach in here and then you add in the pieces that we need to do down the road, then yeah, I could see us building towards the future.
It puts me in mind, I was thinking the other day, actually this morning, the old 2000 trade deadline. If you'll recall, Ray Bourque was rumored to be coming here.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up going to the Avalanche instead.
Yeah.
And the reason given was apparently the Boston Bruins were seeking Simon Gagne as part of the deal. He was a rookie at the time.
Yeah.
And the Flyers were not willing to part with him.
Yeah.
Looking back, if Ray Bourque ended up coming here, would they have won the Cup in 2000?
That's such a good question because you had the Lindros drama around that. You wouldn't have had Sammy Kapanen. No, that was 2004. That's right. That's a really good question. I look at that 2000 team. So that was Primo. Primo was on the team. Yeah, guys like Dan McGillis was on that team. Andy Delmore was the young defenseman that we had the hat trick against the Penguins in a playoff game, playoff series game against the Pens. If you added him, that would have been 2001 that they won the Cup. 2000. I'm not so sure, to be honest.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, it would have been unbelievable to have him here because then I would have been really conflicted because I already had my favorite defenseman of all time in Eric Desjardins. Ray Bourque was number 2. And to have 1 and 2 there, it would have been unbelievable. I don't know what kind of jersey I would have worn back then. 377. I don't know what what would have been there. I don't know. That's a really good. I would say maybe not.
You don't think so? You don't think we get past the Devils in the Eastern Conference Final?
I mean, maybe you do. I mean, who would you? Would it have been Detroit or would it have been Colorado?
No, it was Dallas.
Would have been Dallas. And I think Dallas would have been a beatable team back then. So
the Devils beat them.
Yeah, they beat them in 6 if I remember right. So yeah, they were going for the second straight Stanley Cup at that point. That's when Lindros got hurt in that game 7. That's right, when Scott Stevens elbowed him in the face.
Now, if you acquire Ray Bourque, things change. That doesn't happen because butterfly effect.
Yeah,
but
at the same time,
who knows what becomes of Lindros at what happens to him?
But here's the thing: at the same time, you get rid of Gagne, all of a sudden you're in 2010 against the Bruins.
I understand that, but would you trade getting a Stanley Cup in 2000 for that 4-game comeback in 2010?
So you're telling me I would?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Bourque gets you the cup. That's my question.
I don't know. That's my question. Yeah, and that's where I'm struggling with it because I'm not so sure that addition would have really gotten us over the hump. Because you're losing a young guy who can score off the wing. But he was second or third in Rookie of the Year voting, right? So I
mean, he wasn't. I don't think he was really a factor in that playoff year.
I don't think so, but you could definitely tell that he was he was
obviously later. The reason they kept him was later on he came up with some huge moments.
Yeah, And then,
But
of course, like you get
2000,
Forsberg. Yeah.
You've given up Gagne in 2000. He's not really doing anything yet. So for that year, does adding Bork make the difference?
I don't know.
It's a hell of a defense
That's
score.
a great, it is. It probably would be their best defense score since their Stanley Cup runs back in the 70s.
Probably.
You know, because more than likely you're not pairing Desjardins and Bork together. You're separating those two.
I don't know. They're right and lefty, so.
Oh gosh, could you? Oh
You
my
know,
gosh,
I mean,
could you imagine
late in the third period,
you combine those two on the ice.
You could do that. You could.
You sure
do
could.
that option.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe keep them split for most of the game, but when you absolutely need to shut it down or get a goal late in the game, you could put both of them out together.
I don't know if he gets you over the hump, Steve. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know. It's a great question.
I was just pondering it because I feel like that trade never gets discussed around here anymore.
Oh yeah.
And that was such. I mean, he thought he was coming.
Oh yeah.
The last game before the trade deadline, the Boston Bruins played the Flyers, and Bork thought
he was going to stay here. Yeah, like he literally was
exactly.
going to be like, I'm not going to go on the team bus heading back. Like this is it.
Right.
And it wasn't until Colorado came in with a last ditch effort and really changed their fortunes a little bit. And they ended up winning the cup because of that. A year later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember the rumor mills were flying back then. Oh my gosh, it was like, but back then, no salary cap. It didn't really matter. Right. We were one of the big contenders in the East at that point because money didn't matter, and you're just gathering up as much talent, paying as much talent as you possibly could to be on this team and be a cup contender at that point. So I mean, you add him to a Lindros, Leclerc. I don't know if Remberg I don't think was on the team back then.
No, but Mark Recchi was.
But Mark Recchi was.
Damon Lankow, Rick Tocchet.
You have Primo.
Keith Jones.
Yeah, Jonesy.
Primo.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Brian Boucher between the pipes.
Yeah, young Brian Boucher, who was playing very, very well. Yeah. Back then, so the young hot goaltender at the time. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Never know.
One last move, just because it's kind of important.
Yeah.
For the remainder of the season, Luke Glendening was claimed off of waivers from the New Jersey Devils. He's a center. That's because we're tired of seeing Carl Grundstrom play center because he can't do it on the fourth line.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
It's just a fill-in because Obels is done for the year. So that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say, one more anecdote, because I saw a headline in TSN about a week or so ago. It was talking about Tyler Myers, who was playing for the Vancouver Canucks at the time, and he was on the rumor mill, and it said, "What's holding up a Tyler Myers trade?" And I thought to myself, the fact that he stinks. And then Dallas Forks. I forgot to get to this in the Risto.
Yeah.
Dallas gave up a second and a fourth-round pick to get stinking Tyler Myers out of Vancouver.
Yeah.
Rasmus Ristolainen is worth much more than that then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit. He stinks. He's always stunk.
Memo to TSN. Please check your reporting. Please look with your eyeballs of what you're watching. For God's sakes. They're a bunch of clowns. I don't even know what to even make of that channel. I had them on today, basically as I was working. And they were so nervous about, there were only 10 trades reported prior to the 3:00 deadline. And they were like, this is unusual. This is totally ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, the flood of trades comes in. It's up to 20. And it's like, will you please just put your pant legs on one leg at a time, sit down, shut up, and just report on what's happening. Don't try and speculate what's happening. Tell us what's happening up there. I don't know how Canadians put up with that television show or that TV station. They are clowns. Every single one of them are just clowns up there. They would drive me crazy.
They put up with the Toronto Maple Leafs, so they must have some kind of patience. Look, I mean, the Maple Leafs, they're pretty much selling that they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're done.
Their season will end about a week earlier than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, my goodness.
All right. Well, that does it for our emergency podcast. We're going to be coming back on Wednesday for our normal, regularly scheduled programming where we'll talk about Evgeny Malkin and his desire to be a baseball player. But until then, let's go Flyers.